So now for question 2, this is the video for question 2. All right, and so this question basically asks you to again write a method which is called delete item. It takes a string array called names and another string object called name. So you're supposed to find out if this name is present in the names array, and if it is present, then you delete that name from the array. All right, and you're also required to return back the updated array. Now, like I said, you're supposed to delete the name from the array, move any subsequent members back one element in the array so that the last member becomes null, print the updated array. If the name is not found, deliver an error and terminate. So here, let's say this was the array, all right? Or better yet, let's try to figure out using this array. So here you have around 9 elements in the array, all right? And we're supposed to remove the name Philip from this array, all right? So what should happen is it should check each element, which is the linear search, one by one. It will check if the name at the 0 index is Philip. No, so it will move to the next one. Is this name Philip? No, again it will move to the next, to the next, to the next, until it reaches here, which is Philip, right? So here what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to remove this name, all right, and the name that is after this should be moved to this position, all right, so that the last position then becomes null. You have to assign the last position as null, and you have to move every other element to one position or one index back, all right. And finally you're supposed to print out the updated array only if the element was deleted. If the element was never found in the array, like in this array Philip is not there, so your program should only print Philip was not found. All right, so let's start with creating the method. So I'll just copy this from here and write public static, not void, just paste it here so that it returns the updated array as well. Now here, the first thing, just like the previous question, we're supposed to figure out the index where you find that particular name, all right? So in order to keep track of that, you can create int index is equal to 0, by default at 0. Now boolean, you have to create a flag to indicate whether or not you have found the element, all right? So I would just create boolean found is equal to false. By default, initially, I've not found the element, right? So I'll give it a value of false. It's a flag, all right? So just to, figure out in the program whether or not you found the element, right? So now, so after this, we are supposed to have a while loop, any loop will work, but you're supposed to have a loop, all right? And that loop should check until the end of the array, which is names.len, all right? And it will check, the first thing it will check is if found is still false, all right, and you're not you whatever if it is false, all right, if you've still not found the element in the array and the current position in the array has the name that we're looking for. So you would say name dot equals ignore case. All right, so you'll say if found is still false, all right, you've not found it, and the current name in the current index, the value at the current index is the same as the name being passed to the method. If that is the case, you will change found to true because you've found the element in the array. All right, and after that, you will change the specific, in order to remove it, you will change the specific value of the index to null. All right, and you can here itself print out that the specific name was deleted. So you can say system dot out dot print ln name is deleted. All right, so we're done with that. So this part of code only gets executed, or I should have said this part of code should only get executed if you've not really found the element in the array and the name that you're looking for is the same as at the current value of the array. All right. Now, otherwise, if you've found it, all right, and so you can say if found is equal to true, and sorry, and your index is less than names dot len minus 1. I'll show you why we're doing that minus 1. Here, if you have found it, let's say you have found it at this position, and now you've changed this to null, and you've changed this to null and you've printed it as deleted. Now you have to move this element to this position. So all I can write is names of the current index is equal to names of index plus 1. All right. This is the reason we have minus 1 here, because we're trying to access plus 1. So if I say, if I'm at the current index 7 and I have to write names of 7 is equal to 7 plus 1, which is 8. So this one will be moved here. But when I go to 8 and the index is still less than 9, which is the length, if I don't have minus 1 here, it will try to execute this also, and then it will give you index out of bound, because here it will try to add 1 to 9. So 9 plus 1 will make it 10, right? So in order to avoid that, we have minus 1 here with names.len. All right. And not to forget, because it's a while loop, finally you need to have plus plus index to move to the next index. All right. Now, after this, you have to check if you have found the element. So in that case, found will be true, right? So if found is true, you're supposed to basically change the last last index to null, as it says here, right? Somewhere, yeah. So the last member becomes null. So you can write it this way: names dot len minus 1 is equal to null. All right. Now, after changing all of that, you can print out system.out.println updated array. So I can just copy it from here, updated array. Okay. And then using a while loop or a for loop, whichever loop you prefer, but make sure you change index back to 0. All right. So while index is less than names dot length, and names of index is not equal to null. So we're doing this because we don't want to print the null values, right? So here you can just print out system dot out dot print names of index. All right. So this will print out the index. But if you've not found it, then you're supposed to also print out that uh, the element was not found, right? So we can just write that here. Name plus, just copy it from here so I don't make a mistake. Okay, and then finally, because we're returning a string array, you can return names. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, okay. Somewhere I forgot to increment index. So plus plus index. Okay, now it's correct. The only thing was I forgot to increment the index and this loop became infinite. Alright, and now let's see, check. Hopefully it's correct. Yeah, so that would be your answer for this question, for question number 2. Alright, so it's easy. You keep a flag for figuring out if you found the element or not. You keep a track of the index. You go through the whole array, you check if you've still not found it, and the current name that you're looking at is the same as the name that has been passed to the method. If it is the same, you change found to true. You make that particular index null to remove it, and then you print out the name was deleted. Now, after that, you're checking if found is equal to true, and the index is less than names dot length minus 1. You will take names of index to the particular at the particular index. You will assign the value that is at the next index, and then the index plus plus to keep iterating through the array. Once you're done iterating through the array, you will check if you have actually found. If so, then the last member you're supposed to make it null. All right, and then you're supposed to print out the updated array. Because I already have index here, I reset it to 0 so I can start printing from the start of the array. And then using a while loop, making sure that I'm not printing any null values, I print out the particular index, the value at the particular index, and then increment it. And if I've not found that particular name, I can print out name was not found, and then finally just return the updated array.